Well, hello everyone. I'm back for another episode of Stu Does Linux. I'm Stu Karoff, enjoying my summer vacation and getting ready to start at a new school in the fall. Take a moment to click like, subscribe, and that notification bell thing. Also, use the links I included in the video description below to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Updating the framed album cover on the wall. This video has Hope by Mad at the World. Check out the next video to see what else is in store. Oh, that one's available on Spotify. It's really cool. Unsolicited testimonial time. A quick shout out to Minnesota Tech for Success. Minnesota Tech for Success is a 501c3 nonprofit whose motto is Digital Equity for All. They say, with the belief that digital inclusion and environmental sustainability go hand in hand, we recycle and repair donated computers to refurbish them for schools and educationally focused community organizations to impact the full life cycle of technology. Our programs provide technology access, engaging STEM programming, and IT workforce training in underserved communities. Schools and nonprofits placing bulk orders can email them for a quote, while individuals who want a computer can go to their eBay store. Definitely worth a look. For more information, go to www.techforsuccess.org. That's www.techforsuccess.org. So far in this channel's evolution, I introduced the topic of Linux in school. Then, I made an argument for why Linux belongs in the classroom, and yes, that includes your classroom. Then I talked about the many different learning opportunities that Linux can provide for students. And then in my last video, I talked about different ways of getting computers for your class. Wow! Now let's pretend you've gotten some computers that you want to put Linux on. Today's video: installing Linux on a computer. What will you need to do this? You will need a computer. Well, that seems obvious, right? This can be a laptop or a desktop. Again, you want a computer with a 64-bit multi-core processor, at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, and not falling apart. 2, a flash drive. This is where you will put the Linux operating system so you can install the OS on that computer. 3, an Ethernet cable. Maybe. When installing the OS on the new computer, you can add updates to the OS at the same time, but only if that computer can connect to the internet. You'll probably be able to connect that computer by way of Wi-Fi, but if you can't, have an Ethernet cable ready. And you will need your regular computer. You know, the one you're not going to change in any way. This will be needed to download the Linux operating system and to put that OS on the flash drive. Your first step is to select the version or distro of Linux that you want your students to use. There are several great options for students. For our purposes today, I'm using Ubuntu. Then go to the download website so you can get the ISO file. This is the file that you will use for installing the OS. Download the ISO file to your regular computer. Ubuntu has 2 options, regular and long-term support, or LTS. The regular version has only 9 months of support, while the LTS has 5 years of support. If this is for your class, you are better off sticking to the LTS. Once it's downloaded, you will need to put it on the flash drive so you can use it for installation. You will need a program to make the drive a bootable drive. There are a few good programs to do this. Rufus and Balena Etcher are both very popular. I've used Balena Etcher and I really like it. Very easy to use. I put the links for both in the description. Download to your regular computer the program you're going to use and install it. Then plug your flash drive into your computer and run the program to put Ubuntu onto the flash drive and make it bootable. Once that's done, then plug the flash drive into the computer you want to put Linux on. You will need to bypass the normal boot sequence to get the computer to boot from that flash drive. You do this by turning the computer on and going into the computer settings before the computer goes to whatever OS is on it right now. With Dell computers, this is done by pressing the F12 key on your keyboard. And with HP computers, you press F9. With other manufacturers, you may need to do a Google search. This is a Dell, so I turn on the computer, and as soon as I see the print on the screen, I press F12 to get to the boot options menu. Then select the USB flash drive and press enter. This computer should boot from the flash drive. Be patient, this may take a while. Once the computer has gotten to the desktop of the distro on that flash drive, you will see two options: try Ubuntu and install Ubuntu. On that same screen on the left side, you can also change the language of the installation. The default here is English. I'm just going to leave it. If you want to test drive the OS before installing it, you can. Otherwise, just click Install. Then the installation process starts. Each screen will have you make a choice about how you want the computer set up. I'll be doing this as basic as possible. Keyboard layout. The default is what I want, so I just click Continue. Next, if the computer has a working Wi-Fi card, you can connect it to your Wi-Fi network here. This will speed up updating the OS while it installs, and will also let you install third-party software that will come in handy, things like hardware drivers or multimedia codecs. On the Updates and Other Software screen, click boxes for Download Updates and Install Third-Party Software. Then click Continue. If those options are grayed out and you can't choose them, that means your computer is not connecting to the internet. This could be because your computer does not have a Wi-Fi card or that it does not have the correct drivers. Plug in the Ethernet cable and connect it to your internet router, and then you'll be connected to the internet. Then check those boxes and click Continue. On the Installation Type screen, click Erase and install Ubuntu. A little warning window will pop up to let you know that you are reconfiguring your hard drive. We knew that. Click Continue. The Where Are You screen is to set correct time zone for your computer's clock. It's not to zero in on your exact city. If whatever shows up in the box is your time zone, simply click Continue. If it is showing a different time zone, click on your time zone and then click Continue. On the Who Are You screen, you create a username, assign a name to the computer, and create a password. So username, you just create a username. Often I'll just use student. Computer name, you either create one or just use what Ubuntu puts in there. Password, that's where you create a password. Make sure it's one you can remember. And then on the same screen, click on the Login Automatically button. That's something I usually do just because if it's in my classroom, it makes it easier for the students. Then you let it install. The time this takes can vary depending on how old the computer is, what type of hard drive it has, and how much RAM it has. When it gets to the end, the computer will tell you that it is done. Click the button to restart computer. When it says remove installation media and press enter, unplug the flash drive, press enter, and that's it. You have now installed Linux on that computer. It will boot into the new desktop. That's it for this one. In the next video, I'll show you some tips on configuring the desktop on that computer, as well as showing you some recommendations on apps and how to install them. Put your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to click like, share the video with all your friends, relatives, acquaintances, and neighbors, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. And remember, if Stu does Linux, so can you. Bye.